Hi, my name's Kevin and welcome to the Greenery Garden and Home. I'm standing in the pavilion here at the Greenery where we have a great range of garden supply type products with everything to get your plants growing and thriving and your garden to be a great success. Today's topic is on the wide range of plants called salvias. Salvias are a perennial flowering plant, very long flowering period over summer and autumn in Melbourne, and thrive in really hot, dry climates. So it's a very tough plant for those difficult positions in the gardens where a lot of other plants might struggle. Flowers come in a range of colours through mauves, purples, whites, pinks, reds, and various shades in between. And also grown for their foliage, even when they're not flowering. Lots of varieties of salvias have very attractive foliage. Many gardeners would be aware, particularly the cooks amongst us, of the salvia or sage plant, which is traditionally used in stuffings and marinades and various types of meat dishes. This is the salvia that's used for its leaves. But did you know there's a whole range of salvias which are flowering and flower over a very long period? And I'm going to run through a few of those varieties with you now. This is a variety called Misti. It's a reasonably new variety of blue or purple flowering salvia, compact plant that grows about 30 centimetres high by 30 centimetres wide, flowers over a very long period and produces masses of flowers through the summer and autumn period. I'm sure you'd agree the colour is sensational on this particular salvia. Salvias have great attractive foliage. This is called Salvia Corrigata, and it gets its name because the leaves are actually corrugated. And you can imagine when this plant flowers, and it'll be flowering shortly, a very dark purple flower, against the corrugated foliage, it's very attractive. This would grow up to about a metre or just over a metre high and grows very quickly. A lot of the salvias are fast growing plants and long flowering plants and very easy to grow plants. This is a white flowering form of what they call Mexican sage or Mexican salvia. This is called velour white, and it gets that name because the leaves have a velour texture to them. Very long flowering, bright white flowers, so particularly good in areas where you might want to highlight the flowers in a darker position in the garden. Providing they get a reasonable amount of sun, salvias are happy and will tolerate dry conditions and well-drained soils with no problem at all. This is Salvia Corrigata, one of what they call meadow sage. Has nice, attractive olive green foliage with the purple flower that sits above that foliage. Very long flowering, doesn't grow too big, up to around about 90 centimetres high, and grows quickly as with a lot of the other salvias. Attractive plant, particularly when it's flowering. So for smaller spaces, there are more compact growing varieties of salvia. This one is called Aztec Blue. It has an iridescent blue flower, and when they're mass planted in the garden, they can look absolutely fantastic. Remembering too that salvias grow quite happily in pots, providing they're getting enough sun. They don't need excessive amounts of water, so for one of those plants that needs very little care, probably one annual prune every year just to keep them tidy, they'll reward you throughout the summer and autumn with spectacular flowers. Another variety of Mexican type salvias, this one's called Red Harry. It gets its name, even though it's got a purple flower, it almost has a red tinge to the flower. The Mexican varieties are larger growing salvias, so if you've got bigger spaces to fill and you need them filled quickly, one plant can cover a big area. These average about 1.2 metres high and wide, and get there, within one season given the right conditions. Remembering salvias love the sun, this particular variety will also take part shade. The more shade salvias get, the less likely they are to flower. But very tough, rewarding plants given the right conditions. One of the other great benefits of planting salvias into the garden is that they attract birds and butterflies. And who doesn't want to get more wildlife into their garden? The salvia flowers are attractive to particularly honey-eating type birds. They love the nectar, and the butterflies like the flowers as well. So another benefit of having a long flowering plant is also to attract the wildlife. Because salvias grow very quickly and they are perennial plants, they respond very well to an annual prune, particularly after flowering, and you can cut them back very hard. When you do that, it promotes a better shaped plant and encourages more foliage and more flowers. So an annual prune followed by a general fertiliser will encourage growth and flowers every year. Salvias benefit from regular feeds, probably at least an annual feed as they're starting to produce their new growth. And there are various types of fertilisers that would be suitable. Here at the Greenery Garden and Home, we like recommending the Grow Better All-Purpose Plant Food. As the name suggests, it can be used on a whole range of different plants. It's a powder, it's easy to use, it's sprinkled on the soil around the root system and then watered in. And you would do that probably once or twice a year to encourage growth and flowers. So with salvias, I'll be using this probably at the start of the growing season, say around about September, October. It could be followed again at the end of summer, in early autumn. I've only touched on a few of the varieties of salvias that are available here at the Greenery Garden and Home. If you would like some more information about salvias and how to grow them, feel free to come into the store and any of the qualified staff would be happy to answer your questions. The Greenery Garden and Home is open 7 days a week, and we have qualified horticultural staff here to answer all your queries. Hope you've enjoyed today's video, and thanks for watching.